At one point in the late medieval, early modern period, they even created their own sui generis state, the Commonwealth of both nations, Polish and Lithuanian, and nation, noble or Sarmatian. At that time, the people we call Poles were trailblazers of tolerance and defenders of diversity. But who were these people, and what made them Poles? This question is hardly moot. Who was considered a Pole varied over the course of Polish history. Given the multi-ethnic and multi-denominational composition of Poland's most creative early modern incarnation as a state, the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth, listeners would be wrong to assume that the Poles under consideration were always ethnic Poles, Roman Catholics, or native speakers of Polish, the way we tend to define the nation in modern times. The noble Sarmatian nation of the early modern period extended the full rights of citizenship to nobles across the breadth and length of this state and of different ethnic backgrounds. The country's inhabitants included people whom today we would call Lithuanians, Belarusians, Ukrainians, Germans, Jews, Armenians, Tatars, among others. The legacy of this broader, more inclusive conception of Polishness would continue to color the evolution of Polish national thought, sometimes even inclining the nation to fight for our freedom and for yours, despite the fact that ultimately the nation would come to be defined in modern ethnic terms. The paradoxical persistence of Poland. In most tellings of European history, one is lucky to hear Poland mentioned at all. It figures only sporadically, coming in and out of the picture, seemingly more out than in, and quite often history textbooks get the facts wrong. The picture of Poland has often been unflattering. The country has been mentioned in conjunction with the late 18th century partitions of Poland, that is, precisely at the moment when it disappeared from the map of Europe for over a century. This disappearance was generally presented as something almost inevitable, certainly natural. There were good reasons, so the argument goes, for the Poles to be denied independent statehood. But the reasons for partitioning a large and long-established state, which is what Poland was at the time, were questionable. In accounts of 20th century history, Poland's trajectory has long been seen as depressing. The country generally is mentioned as one of the new states created after World War I. It disappears from the map again during World War II. After that painful caesura, it becomes subsumed within an area called variously Eastern Europe, or the East, or Soviet bloc, suggesting correctly that many general works of history assumed that any references to the Soviet Union, which did become an obsession during the Cold War, would, by extension, apply to the countries of Eastern Europe. Indeed, one history textbook saw fit to write in its index, "See Soviet Union," under the entry for Eastern Europe. Polish pertinence and impertinence. Thus, the picture of Poland, insofar as the country has been depicted at all, has tended to be depressing. The only hope during periods of oppression lay in something called the Polish question. This phenomenon referred to the Poles' seemingly impertinent or even provocative demand for independent statehood, something they considered their right. This question was a feature of what is often called the long 19th century, a period when there was no Polish state and no truly independent Polish state. This period established the idea of Poland, featured in courses on or readings in European or world history. It was a paradoxical, even problematic